Alright, welcome back to the File Scoreboard podcast. I'm your host, Gyroid Gaming, here with my co-host,
Adam the Atomizer.
and today we are giving a review for the game Contra Hardcore on the Sega Genesis. Now, this was Atomizer's choice, and to me it came out of very left field. I've never heard of this game, even though our dad did have the Sega Genesis. I don't remember if he had this game. Probably not, because I don't remember seeing it, but it was actually quite an interesting game. I played half an hour for the video recording and probably about half an hour not on the video recording. So I played about an hour of this game, which, if you know what this game is like, it's plenty of time to get the feel of the game and understand what's going on. Now, Atomizer, what about you? How much did you play this week?
I also played about half an hour on the video recording, but off screen I played about like another 10-20 minutes just to try to experiment with some things, see different things about the game, and I got a pretty good way to grade this game.
Okay, that's good. We got pretty much the same experience with it. So, we gotta start, as the usual, with gameplay. Now, I will go first. So, it's the gameplay loop of this game, as you will see in the background if you're a video watcher, but if you're an audio listener, I'll describe it for you. So, the gameplay loop of this game, it's basically a run and gun. That's the easiest way to describe it. You can run, you can shoot, you can jump, and you can also collect different weapon mods to get different types of guns. Now, my favorite aspect of the gameplay, I will say, was the fact that each character comes with different types of weapon mods. So, like, in the first section, the first half of the first level, you can get two shooting mods, like A and D, I think, or no, maybe it's B and D. Yeah, I think they're B and D, and they are different based on each character you play. There are 4 characters: Ray, Sheena or Shauna, I don't remember which.
I think it was Sheena or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's Sheena. Those are like a man, a woman, and then there's a wolf. What was his name?
I think it was Fang, but I forgot what the name of the robot was.
Oh, the robot's name is Brownie.
Okay. I don't know the robot's name. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no huge difference between the 4 characters other than the weapons they get, and Brownie is short. Brownie can go under most enemies' shots, which is an interesting mechanic, I will say. For some reason, he's short. Yeah, it's a very interesting mechanic. I don't know why they made the robot like a short little guy, but it does make it interesting if you play as the robot. So, the gameplay itself, like, while being simple, they did have a lot of good enemies, like, in the first level. Actually, how far did you get? I want to hear how far you got first.
So, on the video recording, I got to the final person of the second level, I think.
Second level?
Well, remember, I had this on the Switch, so I was able to abuse the rewind mechanic. But that was able to allow me to learn a little bit more about the game, so I could actually do it in one go when I got to the guy.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't have those kind of tools because I was playing on emulator on my computer. But I did get to beat the first level, and I got halfway, maybe partway through the second level without having to reset save states, which I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is impressive, actually.
So the reason I wanted to know how far you got was, like, so that way I could talk about, like, the different bosses and stuff, because you start out, like, running and gunning just random enemies who are, like, it's very chaotic, I will say. They're shooting everywhere. They're, like, there's so much coming at you. If you don't know the patterns of how they shoot, you're gonna die.
Oh, yeah.
And over and over.
And over.
It's very frustrating because you get 3 lives and you have a single hit to die.
Yeah, 3 lives, 5 continues. That's it.
Yeah. No health bar. Just, if you get hit, you die. Which is very frustrating and like, but also like kind of rewarding when you actually manage to execute it perfectly. So, in the first level, there's a mini boss where it's like this like spider that you have to like. It's not like an actual boss, but it focuses on only the spider, so I call it a mini boss. Where you have to fight this spider, and then he knocks over like a tower, so you can like keep going in the level. And there's a giant Cyclops robot thing. And then you meet Deadeye Joe, the final boss.
You would think that the Cyclops robot is the final boss, but no, it just goes to Deadeye Joe after that.
Yeah, it does make it seem like there's like a huge hulking Cyclops robot that you would think is like the final boss. But then you're like, oh, you got to continue. Oh, and there's also a stupid platforming section that killed me way too many times before I figured out how to actually navigate it. Like, you know that like spinny bar section that you jump on? That part killed me so many times after I finally got past the freaking Cyclops.
I actually had an easy time with that one.
The platforming section?
Yeah, like the spinning bars. Like I kind of just jumped on the one closest to me, let it spin me over, and then jumped to the next one, let it spin me over. And the last one did catch me off guard, but I was too afraid to jump.
Yeah, no, I definitely was not doing very hot. I figured it out eventually, but I don't remember how far I got in the recording, but I don't think I got farther than that because I just kept dying. But after that, you go pretty much straight into the Deadeye Joe fight. And that one is interesting as well. There's it's like a 2-stage boss battle.
His second stage is so hard.
Yeah, I didn't realize there are like 2 stages to boss battles in like games that old, which is kind of interesting.
It was definitely refreshing.
Yeah. And then, oh yeah, like I was saying, like the reason why I built up to that part was that like in the first part you get 2 weapons. In the second part you also get 2 weapons. Like after you defeat the Cyclops guy, you get 2 more weapons. And then and each character has like different weapons for each slot. So like in the first section, I like being Sheena because she gets like this spread shot that tracks enemies.
I was gonna mention that during my segment because I abused the heck out of that off screen.
Oh yeah, no, I abused that once I figured out that was the thing. But then once I die and I continue and I have no more of my weapons and I'm on the Cyclops battle, I actually switched to Ray because Ray has the best second stage weapons for fighting against just the Cyclops and the other guy. Oh no, not the Cyclops. You don't even get to them before the Cyclops. So like the only chance you get to use these weapons besides in the next level is against Deadeye Joe. So I believe Ray had the best weapons against Deadeye Joe. I tried all of them because I died that many times against Deadeye Joe. But I liked Ray's weapons against Deadeye Joe the best. So like there's like I like the fact that there's like different use cases for different characters instead of like, it's just like preference on what they look like. Because like tell me if I'm wrong, but like in my head there's like default characters that we would go to. Like I felt like if there was no weapon difference, I would choose Fang, which is who I started with until I realized his weapons were dog. And then I thought you would choose Brownie out of that.
Honestly, I went towards Fang.
Oh, you went towards Fang. That's interesting. I could have sworn you would be a Brownie like chooser.
Nah, I'm not a Brownie main. I went to Fang first.
Well, that's funny. We both went to Fang first, but I pretty soon switched off of them once I realized his weapons were dog.
Yeah, his weapons are dog. Except for the fire, except for the flamethrower. I'll admit that one's a good one.
A little bit, but like, I like range.
It helps for
better.
dealing high damage quickly.
That is true. He does have high damage.
The charge
weapons.
weapon and then the fist, though, aren't great.
No, they're pretty bad. But the flame power-ups are like, they're powerful, but they're also really short range, which is not fun for like this game.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, so a lot of good things to say about the gameplay. And like the second level, I don't know if you try to save the research center or go after Deadeye Joe. I keep wanting to say Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe.
I don't know which one you did, but I tried to chase after Deadeye Joe, and it got into a whole like speeder bike section. And that was interesting, like change of pace for the second level.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that means
I went down the other path.
Oh, okay, interesting. So you can talk about that in your section.
Yeah, we'll have a few things to say about this.
But yeah, so I went after Deadeye Joe, and there was like a whole speeder bike chase. I did not fully finish because I died and I didn't have save states. But I did play like maybe half of it, and that was kind of interesting change of pace that I liked. So anyway, my overall score is a 19 out of 25.
19 out of 25. Okay. Alright. This is going to be funny. Okay, so my turn to talk about gameplay. So, I genuinely enjoyed the time I had with this game. To me, like, the learning the attack patterns of the enemies and like trying to not die. Like, yes, it's overwhelming at first when you first get into it. Like, oh my goodness, there's so many. I'm already dead. It was a lot, to say the least, but I enjoyed it. And like he said, with the different weapons, like when I discovered that each person had a different weapon, I was like, okay, so I need to play all these characters to figure out what my fighting style actually is. Because I thought I was going to stick with Fang for most of the time, but even then, like, I didn't stick with Fang for long. Because, like, during the actual video... Wait, no, the video I did end up going with Fang later. So, I just had, like, the flamethrower, even though it didn't get me past where I needed to go. But off-screen is when I figured out Sheena had the homing lasers thing, and that got me through a good portion of what I had said I already finished off-screen. Like, past the second boss of the research center. But anyway, like, and Ray has, like, I don't know if you experienced this, but one of Ray's weapons, actually, is a homing missile beam gun thing. Like, it shoots missiles, and then they home in on your opponents.
Which section do you get that in? Because I tested all the weapons, but I don't remember.
I think it was after after right before the spider, like,
oh, okay.
like it was one of the first powers you get. I think it was slot C.
Yeah, I didn't really play with. I did get Ray's power-ups in that section at one point, but at that point I was so locked in on wanting Sheena's power-up that I didn't really like get it.
Yeah, I didn't really use it all that much, but like when I discovered Ray has homing missiles, I was like, okay, this is different than what Fang just had. So like, I had initially switched to try to get a different viewpoint, but like, oh wait, this has different weapons. I'm gonna switch to all of them then. So yeah, but as he mentioned earlier, he took the path to find Deadeye Joe. I decided to save the research center, which led me down a different set of circumstances. Like, I will admit, I only discovered the bike chase off screen when I decided to do multiple save states, one leading towards the Deadeye Joe and one leading towards the research center. I'm not going to say anything about the Deadeye Joe path because that's not what I recorded. But the research center path, you're riding down on your motorbike trying to get to the research center, but the air police, I guess, come up in their helicopter and say, hey, you need a lift, and you ride on the helicopter for a while. But on that helicopter, you're fighting sky-based enemies. Well, first, before you get into the sky, you gotta fight this thing that shoots missiles with people in them to try to destroy the car that's trying to hunt you down, I guess. But yeah, you destroy a guy with a chain, you destroy a guy with, like, a jetpack, and then you take down an entire jet, so that's cool. Which, Sheena's gun came in very helpful here. Even though on the video I used Fang's flamethrower, the Sheena's gun helped off screen, not stream. Sorry, streamer mindset. Anyway, and then when you get to the research center, you get a couple more power-ups, but you can see that they're holding the scientist guy hostage. Like, this is all on screen, by the way. I haven't, like, I got to the boss on screen, but then I died to it, which is when I stopped. So I didn't get past the second level on screen. But yeah, you see them holding the scientist guy hostage, but then they start fleeing because they're trying to get something called the Alien Cell, which is something they recovered during Contra 3 Alien Wars. And like, so, I don't know what we were planning on doing with the Alien Cell or why our team still had it, but if I know anything about sci-fi movies, if you have something from a previous war that's powerful, you know someone's going to try to take it back. So that was just a bad idea overall, but the story seems pretty compelling at least. Either way, they get the cell regardless. But yeah, I digress. That was my experience with the research center, and I genuinely had a great time with it. Like, it was super fun. It was hectic. Well, only the plane part was hectic. The research center wasn't exactly too hectic. I was able to get to the boss just fine. The boss is what killed me. Because, like, he had these bombs that he would use, like, building blocks, and they, like, bounce around, and you had to try to destroy them to bring him back down to the floor so you could shoot him. It was a mess. But anyway, I've talked about gameplay enough, because I've been going on for a while. But my gameplay score for this game is 19 out of 25 as well.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah, the gameplay section I feel like is probably the section we're allowed to have the most liberty with, because it's kind of just like the game itself. The other categories aren't super like in depth. Speaking about the categories though, would you like to take it away on originality?
Gladly. Okay, so I did my digging as normal, and apparently this game is way different than the game that came before it. Like I mentioned it earlier, Contra 3, the Alien Wars. Like, this one acts as a spin-off, actually, rather than just a pure sequel. Because, like, it stands out with, like, branching paths, multiple endings, and then the 4 playable characters with the different weapons that we talked about. So apparently, like, I had a feeling that the different characters wasn't the thing for the previous games. But the fact that the multiple endings didn't spawn from the original series, but instead was from this game, that caught me by surprise. So yeah, like, you got different endings, because like we said earlier, you had the research center saving path, and you have the finding the Dead-Eye Joe path. I almost called him Cotton-Eye Joe like you did. But yeah, like, this game is incredibly different from what it was from any of its entrance before, and like, it's got the like this like it. I'm at a loss for words, because like, it was such a good game, but like, it was so different from everything else that like, I don't really have much else to say about it than what I've already said. I don't know. This part I never get to fill with anything, because there's not really much to say other than how it stood out from everything else, you know?
Yeah.
But all that given, my originality score is a 23 out of 25.
Oh wow, that's very high. I mean, I don't do the research on originality, to be completely honest. I let your scores affect my scores, which is exactly what's happening here today again, because like, I did not know anything about the other Contra games. I only judge based off of the games that I know from like just any other games. So like, what I judged off of was like, how unique of a concept was it, and how different is it from like any other game that exists. And like, it is a good game, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it, and I honestly might come back to it. But the originality, it's just a run and gun. I feel like there's a lot of run and gun type of games, especially on older consoles. So it didn't feel super original to me.
That's valid.
But I do appreciate the multiple endings and the other things like that, and like apparently how it's different from the other games in its series. So my score is 18 out of 25. I bumped it from a 14 because originally it was going to be a 14. But I do also appreciate when they make different changes and try different things within a gaming category, like within a franchise. So I bumped it up a little bit.
And I'll try to keep pointing those things out as we go along this series.
Yeah, I definitely take advantage of the fact that you'll do the research, because I am lazy and I don't want to do it. Alright, so next is overall feel. So, for overall feel, I mean, I guess you have to describe the environment that this game is set in. I don't really know too much about the environment this game is set in, but it seems to be another, like, sci-fi world where there's a bunch of, not aliens, there's a bunch of robots who are, destroying this city or something. I don't fully know the context, but it's very noisy is how I'll say it. Like, not like noisy, but like there's just a lot going
Cluttered.
on. Yeah, there's so much going on. You can't really even like take a look at the background because so much is going on, and the explosions are huge. Like, if you destroy an enemy, they like blow up at astronomical like sizes. It's just like there's just so much going on, which definitely like dinged it down for me. It's not like bad graphics wise, like it is what you expect from a Genesis game, but there's just a lot going on. And also, I will say, this game suffers from being a Sega Genesis title by the Sega Genesis. The layout of the controller is a 3-button A, B, X, or A, B, C, X on the bottom, X, Y, Z on the top.
Oh, that's why it felt weird.
And yes, I'm assuming you probably you played it with a Switch controller.
Yeah,
So,
I did.
I don't know how they laid out your controls for you,
Affect my score a little bit, actually, come to think of it.
but for me, I played it on Xbox controller on an emulator. So they so I had my A and B's are the same, the X and Y are the same, but I had the right trigger or I think the right button, I don't remember which, being my C button. So if I wanted to jump, I had to press the trigger, or I think it was the button actually, the right button, or the left button actually. It was the left button.
Well, now
So
I
if
gotta
wanna
check,
jump,
actually.
I press the left button, and if I want to do whatever Z does, I press the right button. So it was a very weird control scheme because it doesn't map out exactly correct to the system that we're playing it on, which, like, I mean, I get is not a problem with the game itself, but it's a problem with the way I played it, I guess. But I wasn't about to go out and buy original Sega Genesis hardware for this review, or like, it would be cool to have like a Sega Genesis controller like this USB or something, but I doubt they make that. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out from one of our fans later.
Yeah. But anyway, so that takes my overall feel score to a 13 out of 25.
That's understandable. And honestly, seeing your point of view might affect my score a little bit. Especially since after you made that comment about the 3 buttons, I pulled out my Switch to check the control scheme they laid out for me. Like, and it's weird. So, you know how they have X, Y, A, B on those controllers, right? In this alignment of a circle, kind of?
Yeah.
So it goes Y is on top, then A, B, C going from left down right. And then X and Z are the little Z, L, are the little L and R buttons on top.
That does sound like vaguely similar to how I laid mine out, but like I didn't do A, B, and C on the buttons. It would make more sense for me to do that, but I assigned my C to the left button instead.
Yeah, like, I guess it makes sense what they're trying to go for, because like the bottom 3 buttons are the bottom 3 buttons, and the top, the air quotes top 3 buttons are the top 3 buttons.
Yeah,
but like,
it does make sense now you're saying it out loud.
Either way, that is going to bring my score down a little bit. Like, I had a little bit higher, so, but I'll get to that later. What I am going to talk about is like the graphics. Obviously, like he said, it is a Sega Genesis game, so like but it's a pretty beautiful Genesis game, because I've played stuff like Rampage and Altered Beast when I was younger. Like, this is a highly detailed game. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's on a similar level to those games, to be honest, but
I gotcha. Anyway, but I will say it did feel cluttered, like he said earlier. All the robots everywhere, the fires, the explosions, like the intense music. Well, the intense music is a given. It's a Contra game. What do you expect? But either way, I think they tried a little too hard to make it high-paced, and it kind of got convoluted a little bit to the point where I almost lost focus on the story in trying to just survive their new attack system, the decibel system. But anyway, and I already said my piece about the controls. Like, it felt kind of weird at first, but then I got used to it. Like, I didn't know why it felt weird until he actually just explained it perfectly. So this is gonna affect my overall feel score a little bit. I brought it down from a 20 to an 18.
Alright, that makes sense. So you want to take it away on replayability then?
Sure. So, replayability. This is going to be a bit of a unique take for me for a replayability category. So, it's not replayable in the usual sense of like, oh, I want to come back to this game and play it again because I beat it the first time. Like, this is replayable because it feels like an old arcade game. I don't know if you got the same feel about that. Oh, wait, no, you did. You told me that. I know you're going to mention it later, but this game feels like an old arcade game that I would have played with you when we were kids on like the couch or something if we actually had this game. But then again, I feel like we would have died many, many times as kids.
Yep.
Like, it's such a difficult game if you're not prepared for it. Anyway, I enjoyed how like it feels like oh, I could have done better. Oh, I could have done better. So like it lulls you into a sense of like you can replay it and you can get farther, which a lot of times isn't the case, but also a lot of times is the case, depending on how you go about it. Like, I am stubborn, so I will keep going at the same obstacle the same way I did before, thinking that I'm on the right path when I'm really not. So suffice to say, if you get technical replayability, I replayed this game a lot. But I digress though. My replayability score, given those facts, is going to be a 20 out of 25.
Yeah, I had pretty much the same feeling about it as you did. Like, replayability, normally I base it off of would I come back to play this game again? And I guess I do a little bit based off of that in this instance. But a lot of it I also based off of how you described, where it's, it makes you want to come back and play it again. Like, it makes you want to do better and be better at this game.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I don't really have much more to say that you haven't said. Like, it feels like an old arcade-style game where you want to just put your coins in and you want to play again because you think you can get a high score. And so, like, that's exactly what it was like for me. So, my replayability score is a little bit higher than yours at a 22 out of 25.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So,
yeah. So, that puts our overall scores. For me, I'm at a 72 out of 100. Just barely nicking the top of the B tier.
And my score is going to be an 80 out of 100, putting me somewhere in the middle of A tier.
Alright, so now the debate. Honestly, I could be convinced easily to go up to A tier. The only thing that's pulling me down was the overall feel. But
no, I got you. If you were settled on it, I would have been willing to bring it down to where you were. But yeah, I can see it being up here. That's why I have my score the way I do.
Yeah, like if I was playing on a Sega Genesis, I feel like this game would be really good. Yeah,
like if we were using the actual hardware.
Yeah, like the actual hardware would probably make it even easier to play. So like, I feel like maybe that's a downside on me that I can't overlook the controls as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to bump it up. So
all right, yeah.
We'll go up somewhere. The problem is, where do we want to put it?
That's the question.
I know you put Wario Land at an 80, and I'm still a little bit peeved about that, because I think this game's better than Wario Land. But I also think Limbo is better than Wario Land, so...
I will say yes. Like, I don't know what I was going to say.
Wario Land's too high, is what I think, but...
You think Wario Land's too high?
It's been too high for this whole time. Like it's good.
Well, I
but,
like Wario Land. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why it's such a hard thing for me to find a good spot for games on the scoreboard because
No, I
like,
gotcha.
Wario Land is such a bad spot. Everything else I can see, well, except Limbo. I feel like Limbo should be higher, but I know you really didn't like it. So.
I know, like for me, those games are in the right spot, and like that gives Contra an easy spot on the tier list.
What
But
do
like
you think?
I could.
Do you think Contra's below Wario Land?
How about this? Wait, what is Limbo's score again?
70.
And that puts it in B tier. That's right.
In B tier, yeah. No, this is definitely an A tier game. It's gonna be above 75.
And you think Contra is like I'm willing to. Wait, what is your opinion first?
I think Contra's above Wario Land, but the problem is both of our scores don't add up to it being above an 80.
Yeah.
But that's because my score for Wario Land was like a 68 or something, or a 67 or something like that.
Right.
I mean, let me double check. It was.
You had a 67.
67, yeah. So that's why I think Wario Land should be so low, because my score for it was a 67.
Oh dang, my score was an 86. Holy crap.
That's the only reason why it's higher than Limbo. Like Limbo, we had a similar score discrepancy, but your score was way higher than my score.
I must have just really liked Wario Land or something.
Like my score was higher, and your score was like pretty close to the same. And it was like 67 to 86 or whatever for Wario Land, and Limbo was like an 80 or like a
87 to 61.
Yes, 87 to 61. So it was a lot bigger of a discrepancy, which is why Limbo is further down. I think, if I'm being fair, we have to put it below Wario Land because neither of our scores is higher than Wario Land on the scoreboard.
That's valid. Like I would have been willing to lower my score a little bit for Wario Land, but then that would have been going against the whole reason we have this podcast.
Yeah, the problem is if you just looking at the reviews of like our individual scores, for me Wario Land's at a 67 and Contra's at a 72, so that shows you exactly where I think they are. But unfortunately,
it's just that I put such a high score on this game, which I'm starting to regret doing. But in the moment, I must have really enjoyed Wario Land.
I mean, we could always bump Wario Land down a little bit. It's not set in stone, especially considering.
This is true. There's such a wide gap in between the scores. Like what do you say? We bump Wario Land down to like a 77.
Works for me. Let's put him at a 77, so it's still in the A tier, the bottom of A tier.
And it's still within the range of scores that we have for it.
Yeah, and it's still within the range. So that lets us put a Contra Hardcore above it. And what do we want to put it at? We have 78 through 80 are the scores we can do.
Let me see. Honestly, I want to put it just like a 78, just right above Wario Land.
We should probably just put a 78, so that because it's like right above Wario Land. Which, to be fair, my original score was a 68, which is literally 1 point above Wario Land. Until I moved the originality a little bit higher.
Fair enough. And Wario Land was about when I started doing research for these games.
Yeah. Alright, that works for me. Contra right above Wario Land, that makes me happy.
Good.
Because, like, honestly, if the overall feel was better, this game would have been an easy top of A. It could have been close to S even, but it was definitely not S tier. It was just really fun.
Yeah, it probably would have been more enjoyable if the two of us were actually playing together.
That is true. I want to figure out how we can play together because that would be a lot of fun. Because, like, I'm sure it would be a lot less difficult having two people playing at the same time.
Exactly.
It would make it a very different experience, but it would be fun.
Yeah, we'd both be dying out all the same parts.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that would be fun too.
Yeah. Alright, and now it's time for the choice of next week's game.
That's right, but this week we're trying something new. Now it's time for a new segment called Patrons Pick! So, every 10th episode of this podcast, we're giving our subscribers over on Patreon the chance to influence what game we play. But we only have one patron so far, and that's going to be Sam and Sam 1014. Would you like to tell them what choice they chose?
Yes, so we put out a post that let them put in the comments what game they want to play. In the future, if we have more patrons, like if we have a lot more patrons, we'll put out like a post saying like give your game choices, and then we'll take those and put them in a poll and have people vote on it. But this week, since we only had one, we just let them choose, and what they chose is the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle for the Game Boy or the N60, not N64, the NES, I think.
SNES or I don't know. I don't remember. I have to look.
Yeah, I downloaded it already.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's on the NES.
Oh, the NES, not even the SNES.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle for the Game Boy / the NES.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know this game existed, but it's definitely gonna be an interesting play.
Yeah, I've definitely never heard of this game before, so I will be interested to see what it's about. If I was to guess, it doesn't sound like a long-winded game, which is good for us. It sounds kind of like a similar type of game where it's like an arcade game or something. I could be wrong.
I mean, they said it was just long enough to hold their attention, so there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm looking forward to seeing what this game has in store.
Yeah, me too. Alright, so that is it. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and join the Patreon if you want to have an influence on the Patron's Pick for next time. We're doing the Patron's Picks every 10 episodes, so that's one of your benefits of subscribing. The other benefit is to get all of the recordings eventually of our gameplay for these games. At the moment, we each have a very random distribution of games that we uploaded. It's kind of silly because I've uploaded like episode 1, 2, 7, and 8.
And I've only done episodes 1 and 3.
Yeah, and Atomize has done 1 and 3, so the it's definitely a weird sort of way that we did it. We're kind of going out of order because we're really far backed up, so we're doing the ones we want to do first, because like some of them are shorter, some are longer, so release schedule.
And procrastinating on Star Wars.
Release schedule is a bit wonky. I'm procrastinating on Shrek, which is why I end up going to the end into the beginning. But yeah, the we are just releasing literally today as we're speaking. Atomizer Episode 3, Shrek 2, and Gyroid Episode 7, Yoshi Island. So, if you want to see our gameplay, then come check out the Patreon. We've got that. We've got the Patron's Pick every 10 episodes, so that's every couple of months. And then we also have, like, you don't need to be a paid for member. If you're a free member, you also can have our podcast, the main podcast, sent to your RSS feed, your podcast feed, if you guys like that. And speaking of your RSS feed, we also have our podcasts going up on Apple and on Spotify. So if that's where you like your podcast, go check us out there too. Give us 5 stars, give us good ratings, however that works on those platforms. Check out Atomizer. He streams on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 p.m. and Saturday mornings with me. And I guess subscribe to my channel, and see you guys later.
See ya.